In this video, I'm going to talk about my techniques for keeping a worm bin warm during the winter months. This is not a beginner video on how to set up a worm bin or anything like that, although I'll make a video like that in the future. But this is just to show what I do to maintain the colony thriving and active during the winter despite the colder temperatures. Okay, this is my Worm Factory 360. Just want to do a quick video. I just harvested some castings, and I'm about to start this new tray. It's winter time, end of December right now, and I'm in zone 9B, Sacramento, which is somewhat warm, but we still get freezing temperature. Like, we just had our low 30s temperatures this week, so we get below freezing, slightly below freezing. In the winter time, I put the bin in my hoop house here / greenhouse, so it stays a little bit warmer. It definitely gains a little heat during the day, and that's one nice way to help accumulate heat into the unit, and then kind of retains it at night because it's so moist. But then one big thing I do is I also make sure that I keep them well fed, and I try to use my hot composting techniques to try to keep that everything at a slightly higher temperature, and I've found that it actually works pretty decent. So let me start working on that and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here are the ingredients. There is, let's see, these are leftovers that came out of the bin itself as I was harvesting, just like bigger pieces and things that didn't decompose. These are some new food scraps right here. These are coffee grounds, and this is as I've mentioned in previous composting videos, coffee grounds are a great way to activate compost for hot composting. They're full of nitrogen, which will feed the thermophilic bacteria and allow for the decomposition to happen and for the bacteria to heat up. And then this is just some pieces of cardboard, some leaves, wet leaves, a little tiny bit of compost from my compost bin, just some bedding, I guess, general bedding, and I kind of got him a little wet. I tried to get him a little damp. So this is just the top layer, my 6th bin. You can see here. So one thing I try to do is at first I try to see how level is it. It's not very level. Let me try to get it level so that this top tray does not become too slanted. And I do this about, I change out a tray about every 2 to 4 weeks, really, is what it ends up being. Okay, put these at the bottom, and then cover. Okay, now, you'll see here I have everything in here. There's citrus, there's not a lot. I try to avoid citrus, not use too much of it, but it's okay if there's some of it. So I'm just to one side right now. And honestly, I feed these so fast that by the time the worms will come up, they can decide where they want to go, and the citrus will decompose eventually. They'll eat it. It's fine in small amounts. I know everybody always says don't add any citrus, but a little bit is okay. So, and again, the way this works is bacteria actually will do the primary decomposing of all this, and then the worms actually eat the bacteria. So, and here, let's see, I'm not going to be too careful here. I'll add this. This is the big material from the previous tray. I'll just mix this up. There's probably a few worms in here too. Add that there. Add a little more coffee grounds. I'm just gonna keep spreading coffee grounds everywhere. And actually, I think I'm just gonna add these to here and mix this thing all up like this. I just want to get a lot of coffee grounds in there, but I don't want them to mat down. I want them to kind of be spread throughout. And these. So I want it to get nice and warm, or as warm as possible. It does get cold, so it's not gonna get too hot in this weather. It's gonna struggle to get a little bit warmer. And I don't know if this is why I see a lot of videos on how to keep worms warm, but I've never seen this on video before, or anybody talking about doing it this way. But I don't know, a lot of the people that I watch, that I see on YouTube, are in colder areas than I am, and I don't know, it's very possible that you could not do this. You couldn't get any heating up in the cold of the winter of a colder area like that. But it does here in Sacramento. Maybe it's just because the winters are more mild, but works for me. You could try it out. It certainly can't hurt. So some people put a lot of insulation around there. They try to bury them. They try to bury their bin or bring it inside. I don't want to bring it inside. My wife doesn't like it. So I just do it like this. Could put it in the garage, but it gets more heat here. So that's it. Now I'm just gonna cover it, and that's pretty much it. And in a couple of days, if I'll come check the temperature, and it should be in the 60 to 80 degree range, and we'll check that out. I almost forgot, I usually put a layer of wet paper on the top of it. Not that it needs extra moisture, but it's just to kind of make sure that they keep the top at a certain moisture level. Just gonna stick this thermometer in. You can see what the current temperature is. So it's not too cold, so still very survivable for them, but I want them to be in that 60 to 80 range, the temperature range at which they thrive, because I want them to keep decomposing, because I keep adding a lot of waste to this all the time. So that's the goal, is to keep them thriving, not just alive for me. Okay, check back in a couple of days. All right, so next day, this is almost 24 hours later. Let's see, doesn't look like there's much change, and it usually takes, it's gonna take probably another day or two if it goes up at all. I think I'm gonna add some more stuff here, some more leaves. Maybe it's not enough mass. Add a mix of leaves and coffee grounds that I already pre-mixed. And just kind of fill this up. Just provide it with basically a little bit more mass. Fill up the whole thing. Sometimes if you don't have enough of a mass, then things won't really heat up. So let's see what happens with that. That's it. I'll cover this again. Cover it again. We are at about 48 outdoor temperature. Okay, it's a number of days later. I checked it the next day and the day after, and it was still, under 60 degrees. But let's see now. This is probably about a week later, actually. Okay, so if you can see, we're at about 75, so almost at the upper range. They thrive at 60 to 80, so it's working. Nights have been cold. I think it just kind of it took a little longer to get started because the temperature overall was so cold. So, but yeah, the outside temperature right now is probably 60 during the day, middle of the day. Yeah, so the important thing is there's I'm sure the bottom layers of this, or the bottom trays, are not as warm, obviously, but having at least the top tray being warm allows the worms to climb to safety, or if it gets too cold at night. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and feed. And I hear a lot of people say don't feed during the winter, because you're trying to, I don't know, they're not as active and all that. But since the temperature is in full active mode, I feel like it shouldn't be a problem. So this side looks like it's about 71, 72 degrees. This side was 75. So still, you know, very much in the fully active zone. This is just the top covering. Okay, I think I fed on this side last time. So I'm gonna feed on this side. There's some worms. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna add everything. I'm gonna pick out some of the citrus stuff. Some onion. And like I said, a little bit of it is okay, but I just don't want to leave it in excess. It'll just make it so that the worms can't access it as fast. Like, eventually it'll all decompose, it'll all get eaten. But if I leave a lot of citrus, then they won't come to this side until it's more decomposed. If you take it out, then they'll colonize this area pretty quickly. Some mud. Okay. Next time I feed, I'll probably add some more coffee grounds. All right, I just wanted to look at the temperature here at night. It's actually around midnight right now, and it's pretty cold. It's maybe 40 degrees, but I just wanted to show. Oh, look, there's worms. So you can see there's worms here at the top, and I wanted to show this temperature. It's almost at 80 degrees. There it is. High 70s. So yeah, these worms are quite happy. I'm actually gonna take this out just to see what temperature we're at outside. It's dropping fast. I'm gonna close the lid on this just so it doesn't lose much heat. I mean, I definitely have dragon breath, so it's probably 40 degrees outside, I would say right now. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how well this would work in extremely cold climates, but it definitely works here in zone 9B. This is my thermometer. That's the temperature. So it's about 44 degrees out at this time. It's a warmer night, but yeah, it's through. But the color of the dew on these plants, on the peas and the cabbages, it's kind of a cool color. I don't usually come out this late. The garlic too, it just looks like white, almost like frost. Yeah. So here I actually started a new tray since the last clip, and I undid the bottom tray and I saw that the leaves on it were still very much non-fully decomposed, so I just remixed it and added a bunch of food, and added a bunch of coffee grounds, just whatever I had from the house. And look at this temperature right here. It's actually at 80. That's pretty good. Actually, that's better than I expected. So right now it's kind of a warm day today. It's probably 60 degrees outside, or close to 60. So yeah, hopefully this video gives you an idea of something you can do to keep your worm bin warm. It's not the only thing that you can do to keep the worms thriving over the winter, but by combining hop composting principles you can help maintain a better living environment for the worms. And in zone 9B, honestly, you could also leave it as is. The worms will not thrive, but they shouldn't die unless there's a very deep frost or sustained over multiple days. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will do more videos in the future about worm composting, but feel free to ask me any questions about worm composting if you're curious about anything at all. Thank you very much for watching.